I'm Laura Tunbridge and I'm from Kent. I'm going to be going to Yale in September, and I'm going to major in English and Theatre Studies and get a BA in that. I'd always wanted to study in the US. I think a lot of reasons was because I haven't had a lot of chances to travel, and this seemed like the perfect opportunity to go abroad and to really get something out of life. Also, the liberal arts programme really appeals to me. I think I get really bored in the UK just studying one subject, whereas doing lots of different things, which I've enjoyed in school, really appeals to me so much more. And also, again, there's so many financial incentives to go to university in America, whereas there aren't that many in the UK, so there's just so much more on offer for me, which is why I really decided to apply to Yale. I used a lot of resources on the internet. There's loads available, from things like advice from students to blogs, and things like the Fulbright Commission website were all really, really useful. Books as well. I used a book called Uni in the USA, which really goes through the process of how to apply and what different schools are like. I've got a cousin who was actually applying to NYU, and because he goes to an American school in Japan, he was a lot of use to me, and really knew the process inside and out, whereas I came from a school where I'm the first person to apply to college in America. So I did have to do a lot of the research myself. Definitely give yourself time to do it, lots of time. Either take the time that you have over your summer holidays, or even if you want to do a gap year, to really make sure you have the time to fill in your application. But the information is available if you search for it. For me, I left it very late before I decided to apply to America, which I really wouldn't recommend. I gave myself about 4 months to do the application. If I were to do it again, I'd definitely leave myself about 1.5 years, because you really do need the time to revise and write essays. And with my SAT, because I left it so late, I only had one shot to do the exam. And what a lot of people don't realise, I think, is that you can take the SAT as many times as you need to get your score up. But because I left it so late, I only had that one shot. So I really revised like crazy. I got about 7 huge books and revised twice a day, every day. And I was really lucky that in my job this year, during my gap year, they gave me an hour off every day to sit and do some revision for my SAT. And it was fine. It wasn't too taxing, because a lot of the things that they were asking me to revise were things that I'd done in my A-levels before. So it was just a case of going back over them and adjusting to the style of the multiple choice questions, which we don't do a lot of in the UK. What I didn't realise was that, unlike here in the UK, where everything seems to be based on your exam results, it's really not. With the college admissions process, they really take a look at everything that you submit in your application, and your exam results are an important part, but they're only one part of many different things. So I was still offered a place and the financial aid to go with it, but definitely give yourself lots of time to apply. When I applied to Yale, I found out that their financial aid admissions policy was actually needs-based rather than based on your academic achievements. So when I applied, I was offered a scholarship to help me with the cost of university, and I will come out of university now without a student loan like I would have done in the UK, and I'll be getting a fantastic education, but for a much smaller price tag, because I did my research beforehand. I am going to live in one of the residential colleges at Yale. They have 12 colleges, and they guarantee housing for both freshman and sophomore years. So for me, it wasn't too much of a difficulty sorting things out. I just had to fill out a survey about things like when I went to bed, what sort of music I listened to, so they could sort us into suites and different colleges to kind of match us up with people. And once I'd done that, it was just a case of waiting to find out which college I was going to be in and who my roommates were. And again, that gets billed with all my tuition fees and everything else, so it's combined and made quite easy for me in my first year. It's going to sound really geeky, but I really can't wait for the classes, just because I've got so much more choice. I can do a language again, and I can study anything from Spanish to Chinese or Japanese if I want to. But also the people. I went out for 5 days when I first found out that I got in, and everyone was so lovely and so welcoming. And I know I'm just going to have a great time meeting people and going to class and doing other things and joining clubs. So I'm just really looking forward to the next 4 years in general, really.